On my sister's wedding day they went all out, but not for me. They seated me at a large round table, all alone, as if to say a factory worker with a high school diploma didn't belong anywhere else. The isolation was painfully obvious and I could feel it creeping in as I sat there. Then a man quietly approached with a plate of food and a drink. "Excuse me, would it be all right if I join you?" he asked. I nodded. "My name is Mary," I said. "I work the night shift at a factory. I'm 21. Working the night shift was common where I lived, but being a high school dropout made me different. It wasn't that I hated studying or was a bad student. I wasn't allowed to attend. My parents, especially my mother, refused no matter how much I begged or how hard my teachers tried to persuade her. She always dismissed it, saying school was a waste of money. My older sister Chelsea was the pride of the family, smart, successful, adored. My parents showered her with love and financial support, while I was treated like a servant. I worked and gave them my earnings, yet it was never enough. "Mary, make dinner before your sister gets home. She'll be here early today," my mother commanded daily. I would return from my night shift around 7 a.m., sometimes later if I had overtime. Exhausted, I was still expected to cook breakfast and clean before I could rest. And even when I finally managed to sleep, I was always woken by 4 p.m. to prepare dinner. One day I protested, "I just worked all night. Can't I sleep a little longer?" Her response cut deep. "You're just a high school dropout who works in a factory. Your sister has an important job at a prestigious company. Why can't you cook? You're home all day lounging around." If I dared argue, she exploded. "I'm your mother. You don't get to talk back to me." Despite being a stay-at-home mom, she left all the housework to me while spending her days at lunch outings and karaoke with friends. My father knew it was unfair, but he was too passive. "I tried once," he admitted. "But your mom doesn't listen to anyone. Best to just give up." I'll never forget the day I begged him to let me go to high school. "Who do you think you are to ask for more?" he snapped. "We did our job as parents by making sure you finished compulsory education." Every evening I hurried off to my factory job, avoiding Chelsea if I could. If we crossed paths, she mocked me. "Oh, heading off to your night shift? Must be tough working nights in a factory. But I guess that's what you get for dropping out of high school," she'd say with a smirk. The only warmth in my life came from Susie, my cat. Chelsea had begged for a pet years ago, but when she lost interest, I took over. My mother stopped caring about her too. Susie became my one source of comfort. Every morning when I returned from work, she greeted me at the door. On the hardest days when I cried over my family's cruelty, she curled up beside me, purring as if to console me. I wanted to leave many times, but my mother's threats kept me trapped. "You can't live on your own. You're a high school dropout. And you're not taking Susie with you. If you try, I'll dump her in the mountains." She said it so often I believed her. I couldn't imagine life without Susie, so I stayed. The only other light in my life was Harry, a kind coworker. He was 23, hardworking and thoughtful. He made me feel valued. "Mary, you're hardworking, kind and thoughtful. Everyone here respects you," he often told me. Our dates were simple, usually at his apartment with Susie in tow. The three of us would spend hours together, laughing as Harry and Susie bonded. "Susie, take care of Mary for me, okay?" he'd say. And Susie would meow as if she understood. But at home nothing changed. One day Chelsea came home grinning, holding a massive bouquet of roses. "Look at this," she exclaimed. "Isn't it amazing?" "What's the occasion?" I asked. "My boyfriend proposed. We're getting married," she declared proudly. She gushed about her fiance, a wealthy, handsome coworker. Then with a smirk she added, "You wouldn't know what it's like to meet someone like that. Not when you're a high school dropout working night shifts at a factory." I forced a smile despite my exhaustion. "That's great. Congratulations. Sorry, I've got to get going now." Yeah, run along and work hard, okay?" she mocked as I left. The next evening when I walked in, Chelsea stood in the living room with a tall, well-dressed man. "Oh, welcome home, high school dropout," she said, her voice sugary sweet. "This is Brian, my fiance. Nice to meet you. I'm Mary, Chelsea's sister. Sorry about my appearance, I just got back from work," I said politely. Brian gave me a quick once-over, his eyes lingering on my uniform. "Oh, I see," he said with a cold smile. "Chelsea told me you're a high school dropout working in a factory. It definitely suits you." My heart sank. He was just like her. Chelsea grinned, linking her arm with his. Sorry about her, she's always like this. Brian chuckled. I'm forgiving, but maybe you could at least try to look presentable, Mary. Their smugness was suffocating, but I bit back my words. I'll try harder next time. Excuse me, I'll go rest now. I hurried upstairs, hoping to find comfort in Susie, but my room was empty. Panic set in. Susie, I called, searching every corner. Nothing. I rushed downstairs just as my parents walked in. Where's Susie? She's not in my room. I cried. Oh, that, my mother said casually, brushing off scratches on her hand. We took her out in her carrier and left her in the mountains. Her words didn't register. What did you just say? Brian is allergic to cats, she replied. We had to get rid of her. My mind went blank. You abandoned her in the mountains? How could you? Oh, don't be so dramatic, she scoffed. We couldn't let some cat ruin your sister's wedding. Years of anger exploded inside me. Susie was part of this family. You always put Chelsea first. Don't you care about anyone else? I screamed through tears. Chelsea appeared, smirking. Thanks for getting rid of the cat for me. Much appreciated. How could you let them do this? I shouted at her. I'm allergic to cats and don't like them. Simple, she shrugged. Susie was more family than any of you will ever be. I shouted, my voice shaking. It's just a cat, Chelsea rolled her eyes. Get over it. You can always get a new one. I collapsed on the floor, sobbing uncontrollably. My mother shoved past me. Stop crying and making a scene. You're so dramatic. Then, for the first time ever, my father spoke with regret in his voice. If you go about 20 minutes into the mountains from the entrance, that's where we left her. What? I whispered, stunned. I didn't want to do it, he said softly. But your mother insisted. Despite my exhaustion, I bolted out of the house. On the way, I called Harry, my voice shaking with sobs. Mary? What's wrong? Why are you crying? He asked. Susie, they abandoned Susie in the mountains, I choked out. Are you serious? Where are you right now? I'm coming right now. By the time I reached the edge of the mountain trail, Harry was already there, breathless but determined. Let's find her, he said, handing me a bottle of water. We searched for hours, calling Susie's name into the darkness. The mountain was eerily quiet and there was no sign of her anywhere. Finally, I collapsed to my knees, tears streaming down my face. She's gone, Harry. I can't find her. Harry knelt beside me, his voice calm but firm. It's too dark now, Mary. We'll come back tomorrow. He helped me back to his car and we drove home in silence. When we pulled up to my house, my family was outside laughing and chatting with Brian. Oh, look, the dropout's back, Chelsea sneered. What happened to your face? You look awful. Their laughter felt like knives. My anger reignited. How dare you laugh? This is all your fault. Still going on about that cat? My mother scoffed. You're being ridiculous. She's just a cat, Chelsea added with a smirk. I'll never forgive you, I spat, my voice trembling with rage. Harry stepped in, his tone sharp. This is unbelievable. Mary, you're not staying here another minute. Pack your things, you're coming with me. Brian smirked. Who's this? Your boyfriend? Didn't know someone like you could get one. Harry shot him a cold glare. Actually, I graduated high school. And I'm not here to argue with you. Mary, let's go. I rushed inside, quickly packing the essentials while my family continued to mock me. As I carried my bag back to the car, my mother made one last attempt. Are you really leaving? Who's going to cook and clean? Harry answered for me. That's for you to figure out. She's done enough. My father, subdued, spoke quietly. Just let her go. She's been through enough. Without another word, I left. Harry let me stay with him until I found a place of my own. My coworkers rallied around me, offering support, especially our boss, who was an animal lover. When I told him what had happened, his face darkened. If your mother ever shows up here, I'll have her arrested, he growled. With his commanding presence, I knew my mother wouldn't dare. Meanwhile, Chelsea and my mother kept calling, demanding I attend the wedding. I ignored every message. Eventually, the wedding date arrived. Harry, I said one evening, my sister's wedding is coming up. Are you going to go? Of course, he replied, a determined glint in his eyes. I wouldn't miss it. When the day came, I was prepared. Brian's family hadn't met me before because I'd skipped the earlier introductions. Chelsea had told them I was too embarrassed to attend because I was a high school dropout. She even sent me a message instructing me to stick to that story. During the reception, I made polite conversation with Brian's family. To my relief, they were kind and understanding. Education isn't everything, they reassured me. Meanwhile, my mother, Chelsea, and Brian played the roles of the perfect family, smiling and performing for the guests. When it was time for dinner, I saw where they had seated me, a large round table all alone. A deliberate humiliation. "We figured you'd be more comfortable on your own," Chelsea smirked. "Considering how nervous you get around people with real educations." I heard whispers from nearby tables but ignored them. I calmly ate my meal. Then a man approached with a plate and drink. "Excuse me," he said, "may I join you?" "I don't mind," I replied. "Thank you. My name is Paul. I'm the CEO at Brian and Chelsea's company." Startled, I greeted him politely. "Thank you for everything you've done for them." "No need for that," he said, smiling. Then he tilted his head. "But if I'm not mistaken, do you work at a factory?" Caught off guard, I nodded. "Yes, I do." "We haven't met directly," he continued, "but I visited your factory once and read about your team's work in an industry magazine. Your project on improving pet happiness was very impressive." A swell of pride filled me. "Thank you. We've been working hard on that project. It's a passion of mine." Paul's expression softened. "Are you a cat person by any chance?" "I am," I smiled. "I've always loved cats. My own cat Susie means the world to me." He pulled out his phone and showed me a picture of his cat. She was the same breed as Susie. Feeling a sudden connection, I decided to tell him the truth. "Paul," I began, "my sister hasn't been honest with you. The cat photos she showed you, they weren't hers. They were mine. And because her fiance is allergic, they abandoned Susie in the mountains." Paul's face darkened. "They abandoned a cat?" I nodded, my voice trembling. "Yes. They put her in a carrier and left her in the woods to die. My parents helped them." Neither Chelsea nor Brian showed a shred of remorse. They even thanked my parents. Paul's jaw clenched in fury. "I gave your sister a chance at her job because I thought she loved animals. This is unacceptable." Just then Chelsea and Brian walked past. "Paul, what are you doing here?" Chelsea asked nervously. "I was just having a very enlightening conversation with your sister, Mary," he replied, his tone icy. "Oh well, I hope she wasn't bothering you," Chelsea laughed awkwardly. "She's not very sophisticated." Paul frowned. "Actually, you're wrong. Mary's work at the factory is impressive. Far more so than anything you or Brian have shown me." Chelsea's face went pale. "You must be mistaken," she stammered. "Mary's just a high school dropout." "Maybe," Paul replied. "But she has more integrity and talent than either of you. And now I know the truth about Susie." Brian stepped in, trying to save face. "Look, it's just a cat. Why make such a big deal about it?" Paul's voice rose, drawing the attention of nearby guests. "Just a cat? A living being you abandoned, and you think it's no big deal?" I seized the moment. "Actually, I have proof." I pulled out my phone and played the recording I had secretly made of my family discussing their plan to abandon Susie. The room went silent. Paul's face turned red with fury. "I can't believe this," he said. "Chelsea, Brian, you've been lying to me. I trusted you and you betrayed that trust. You don't deserve the positions you hold in my company." Chelsea panicked. "Paul, please don't do this, I need this job." "You should have thought of that before abandoning a living creature," he snapped. Then he turned to me. "Mary, I'd like to discuss your project further. Please contact me after the wedding." With that, Paul walked away, leaving Chelsea and Brian humiliated. Their wedding was in shambles. I stood, smiling faintly. "Congratulations on the wedding. I hope you two are very happy together." Then I walked out without looking back.